So we just came off of celebrating National Superhero Day. Great day indeed. If you all know me well enough, my favorite superhero is Nightwing, with, I would say, Wolverine pulling a close second. I'm sorry, I am a stan for Wolverine, but Nightwing is my guy. And with coming off of Superhero Day, we are approaching Mother's Day. And I feel like that's a convenience, a little bit of a coinkydink, if you will, that we're coming off of Superhero Day going into Mother's Day, because mothers are superheroes. I know that mine was. To this day, there are things that my mom has done for me that I have no idea how she did, how she was able to pull it off to make things happen for me and my sister. I'm sure you all out there as well have a mother or a mother figure in your life who has just been this amazing person to endure so much and at the same time give so much, and to do it all with love. Mothers are absolutely superheroes, and to say that they just deserve a day, I would think we should have a Mother Appreciation Month, to be honest with you. If I put that out in the universe, then good for me. But yeah, mothers are definitely superheroes. My wife is probably one of the greatest. That's just being completely real. I have watched her do things that should be impossible to have happen, and somehow she makes it happen. She does it. If the Jay-Z line, difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week, my wife is the living embodiment of that as a mother for our 2 kids. And she is definitely my Wonder Woman, because there are some things I wonder how she does it. That was a corny pun, but whatever. But absolutely, shout out to every single mother coming up this Mother's Day. And from DYSG, we celebrate you. Ladies and gentlemen, blurs and nerds, freaks and geeks, this is Do You Speak Geek, episode 76. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the ride. This is Do You Speak Geek. I am your host, Nix. Welcome if you have joined us for the first time, and if you're an avid listener, welcome back. This is DYSG, the place where you get all the latest and greatest news inside of the geek realm. Shout out to everybody who has been rocking since day one. Shout out to all the subscribers, all the followers. People, we just hit 500 followers on Instagram. And we don't call them followers around here. We call them friends and family. So shout out to every single one of y'all. I am speechless. I still to this day don't understand how I did it. But man, y'all must really like what I do. And if nothing else, you like Dono. So we definitely appreciate the love. Here's to y'all. Absolutely. You know what? I think I'm going to do a giveaway. Yeah. So if you listen to this podcast, you know a giveaway is coming. So consider yourself privileged. If you're listening to the podcast, you're probably listening on Spreaker. Shout out to Spreaker. That's the home team. Shout out to them. And if not on Spreaker, you're probably listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on. We're kind of everywhere. So please be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you may listen. DoYouSpeakGeek.com, the central hub for everything DYSG. We got blogs, we got pictures, we got videos. We even have our social media feeds there. And we got a little merch. So if you're feeling like you want to be part of that DYSG family, go ahead and cop some of that merch and show everybody that you speak geek. That is at DoYouSpeakGeek.com. Follow us on social media, Facebook at DYSGFB, Twitter at DYSG_tweets, Instagram at DoYouSpeakGeek, and please be sure to check out the YouTube channel, the only place, and I mean the only place, where you can find the Dono and Daddy Show. We are coming up on a new First Friday Fights. This one's going to be good. Please be sure to check it out. Be sure to hit that subscribe, hit that like, Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications, and leave your comments. We want to know what you guys think. We are going to go ahead and hop into my favorite portion of the show. Y'all know the vibes. Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the Source Wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, Stan. The pull list this week, we got the Source Wall Wednesday pick of the week, Miles Morales 25. The Clone Saga, Miles Morales style. We finally see the full extent of what the Excessor did when he kidnapped Miles back in the issue number 7 of the Spider-Man book. This oversized anniversary issue lets the clones loose in Brooklyn and messes with Miles' life even more than Peter Parker's Clone Saga messed up his life. Man, between Jackal and Ben Reilly, if these clones can mess up his life even more than that, I hate to see what would happen. But check this book out. Not gonna give any spoilers to you guys. Let you enjoy that thing. Alright? Berserker number 2. U.S. government Dr. Diana Aju seeks to unlock the mysterious Bee's memories, lifetimes of violence and tragedy like no one else who has ever lived, that began with a fatal decision in ancient Mesopotamia. But is Diana here to help him? Or is she serving a darker agenda? Ooh. Ancient Mesopotamia, huh? Ain't that back where they used to, if you lied, to cut your tongue out, if you stole to cut your hand off? No thanks. Robin number 1. After learning of the Deadly League of Lazarus tournament, Damian Wayne has a new mission: to win the tournament and prove he is the greatest fighter in the DC universe. But first, he must find the secret island where the tournament is being held. Yeah, doesn't that sound like a movie or something they called a movie that we all just finished watching on HBO Max? Hopefully this issue is better than that movie. Yeah. And finally we have Shadow Man number 1 from the best-selling master of horror Cullen Bunn and bone-chilling artist John Davis Hunt comes a shocking supernatural odyssey. The forces of darkness are awakening and they will hunger for life. Will Jack Boniface, feared by the forces of evil as the protector Shadow Man, be able to save us all? This was a good book. Valiant Comics brought this back. I am so happy that they did that. Please check this one out, guys. You will enjoy it. In Source Wall news, now this is going beyond the Source Wall, but DC FanDome is returning on October 2021. It's going to follow up the massive 2020 event with a virtual gathering. DC Comics announced this past Wednesday. This October, you're invited to DC FanDome. A video tweeted by DC Comics announced the first DC FanDome kicked off in August as a massive 24-hour event. At the last minute, the event was split in 2 separate days and allowed some of its programming to be more spread out, while the content was also given an opportunity to be created for the latter event behind the scenes. The first event featured movie and TV announcements, DC comic publishing content and events, and more. DC FanDome will return on October 16th, 2021. I'm super excited for this. Just as I was the last one, I'm absolutely going to do a separate show dedicated to FanDome because I'm pretty sure it's going to be that much content. I just hope Twitter doesn't deactivate my account again if I live tweet it. Maybe I just shouldn't live tweet it because I still to this day don't know what happened to my first Twitter account when I was live tweeting this. But I'm going to see what happens and we will go from there. Maybe I'll do something different. Let's watch this.
Watch this, y'all.
Thunder!
Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude.
I am the villain of the story.
All right, people, for your TV and movie news, Robert Kirkman's Invincible has been renewed for a season 2 and a season 3 at Prime Video. Just ahead of this past Friday's season 1 finale, Amazon has renewed Invincible for a second and third season. This news comes by way of Amazon Studios, which announced 2 more seasons of the show have been ordered. Invincible, which is based on Robert Kirkman's long-spanning comic book of the same name, has gained momentum with each weekly episode that has dropped on Amazon Prime Video. Y'all already know what's good, man. This show, woo, woo, just woo. Yo, I'm so dope. I'm so glad they have a second, third season. So glad. This is gonna be amazing. Finn Wittrock has been cast as Guy Gardner in the upcoming HBO Max Green Lantern series. Now, this is by The Hollywood Reporter. Finn Wittrock will portray Green Lantern Guy Gardner in the series. According to the report, this incarnation of Guy is a hulking mass of masculinity, and as rendered in the comics, an embodiment of 1980s hyper-patriotism. And yet, Guy is going to be somehow likable. Let me tell you something. No one likes Guy Gardner, okay? No one. If you run the list down of favorite Green Lanterns, I'm guaranteed you no one's going to have Guy Gardner at the top of that list. Nobody. But I'm excited to see developments from this show start to come to fruition. We'll see what happens going forward. But no one likes Guy Gardner, just so you know. Masters of the Universe star Noah Centineo has exited the role. Now, Noah Centineo has exited Masters of the Universe, and he's no longer playing He-Man. The company will now find a new person to bring Prince Adam and He-Man to life on the big screen for a new generation. Aaron and Adam Nee's task in directing the movie just got a whole lot harder without their main star. But without Centineo, they run up against one of the biggest obstacles of all. Who will play He-Man? I don't have too many picks, but I do have one name I'll let her throw in the hat. Good friend of mine by the name of Hellspawn Cosplay. He's got a pop figure. He has the look. Why don't y'all give that man a call? Or, I can give him a call and he can get in contact with your people and I can get in contact with his people and, I could broker a deal. I don't need anything. Just, maybe a little name in the credit, tickets to the premiere, whatever. But yeah, Hellspawn Cosplay. Y'all give that man a call, alright? First official photo of CW's Naomi series paying homage to issue number 1 of the comic. Now, CW's DC lineup continues to get bigger with all its new shows and the returning shows coming up soon this summer. The first official photo from the network's upcoming adaptation of Naomi has been released, depicting Casey Wallfall as the DC heroine as she strikes a pose that recreates the original comic series' first issue. Though Naomi's pilot is currently in production, the CW has not given a series order yet. Should the network order a full season, Naomi would join a lineup featuring other series like Superman and Lois. We have a Wonder Girl series, The Flash, Black Lightning, and Batwoman. No word yet whether or not Naomi is going to be a part of the quote-unquote Arrowverse. Amazing picture. Love it. Can't wait to see it. I mean, Ava DuVernay is doing it. I mean, come on now. Why would I not want to see it? I'm a stand for Ava DuVernay. I swear I am. And finally, we have set photos that reveal Miss Marvel. One of the more anticipated hero debuts from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, who will be brought to life by Iman Vellani. Fans have received a few welcome glimpses of the show thanks to set photos from filming, including some images that showed Vellani will have a Captain Marvel costume at some point during the show, which makes sense because Khan's character is such a big fan of the quote-unquote boss of space. Just Jared has shown off some new set photos that show Vellani in full costume, and fans of the Miss Marvel books are going to be absolutely pleased. Y'all, this suit looks so authentic and plucked right out of the pages. It looks amazing. I'm loving that she has sneakers on. That gives her the kid look. It's so dope. Y'all gotta see it. If you haven't seen these photos, please go check out the Miss Marvel photos online. You will not be disappointed. Let's go ahead and jump into Thumb Life.
Peace, love, and video games!
It's on like Donkey Kong.
That man is playing Galaga.
All right, gamers. Announcements from April's PlayStation State of Play. Now, we had a new one that simulcasted on the 29th of April. Here's what we had given to us by way of news. Among Us. PlayStation users are finally going to be looking a little sus. It's been a long time coming, but Among Us will be released on both PS4 and PS5 later this year. In addition, the popular party game will launch an exclusive Ratchet & Clank skin. Now I gotta play this damn game. I got so many friends, and even Dono, who is like heavy into this game. Now I gotta play. Thanks a lot, PlayStation. Subnautica Below Zero, developer Unknown World showed off the sequel that takes place 1 year after 2014's award-winning Subnautica. The PS5's hardware, including the DualSense controller and its haptic feedback, will bring an added layer of immersion to keep you feeling the bitter cold of planet 4546b as you rebuild your tools and shelter. This looks amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it looks like beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. This one's gonna be a good one. I got a feeling. And speaking of Ratchet & Clank, back on Among Us, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Insomniac Games provided a far deeper dive into one of the most highly anticipated PS5 games coming later this year, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The game's platforming mechanics were shown off as Ratchet searches for Clank in this vertical cyberpunk style dimension of Nefarious City. We got to see some of Ratchet's new moves, the combat mechanics in action, weapons arsenal, characters, and of course, newcomer and playable character Rivet. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will launch exclusively on PS5 on July 11th. I just want to get a PS5 at this point. I mean, I finally saw one up close recently. Like to see one like in person instead of seeing it on screens. But yeah, I just want one at this point. But these games look amazing. What do you guys think? Let's speak technical for a moment.
Technically speaking,
Your technological advancements.
1.21 gigawatts!
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
All right, technically speaking, YouTube has been pulled from Roku. After issuing a warning to users earlier this week, Roku has officially stopped allowing new subscribers from downloading YouTube TV, removing the official app from its store. Former subscribers of the service, however, will still be able to access the app and all of its content, with YouTube TV likely not being made available for new downloads until Roku can reach an agreement with Google. While there are still workarounds for potential new subscribers to access the app within their TVs, this serves as just another example of the ways in which major companies can prevent subscribers from easily accessing the content they pay for on select devices. So what that means is if you already have YouTube TV on your Roku, don't delete it. And if you don't have it on there, sorry for you. I just don't get it, man. They should really work these things out, man. A lot of people watch these contents, especially my content. If you have Roku and you have YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to DC FanDome on the YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I really hope that they work out some sort of an agreement and a deal. That way people can continue to watch YouTube on their Rokus and any other devices for that matter. So let's get that worked out, shall we? Yeah. All right, people, let's mark out.
So what you gonna do?
Goodbye, Bang!
All right, you wrestling nerds, this is a big announcement. Andrade is no longer in WWE, as we all know, and he's starting to pop up in more places, especially Mexico. El Idolo appeared during AAA's Rey de Reyes event and laid down a huge challenge. Kenny Omega is AAA Mega Champion, but Andrade wants to dethrone the belt collector. The former WWE superstar laid down a challenge to face Omega in AAA for that title. Andrade challenged Omega for a match at this year's Triple Mania event. It stands to reason that this match will happen since Andrade made the challenge in a vignette that they aired during the pay-per-view. People, let me explain something to you right quick if y'all don't understand what the hell is going on right now. Andrade is with Lucha Underground. He's with AAA, and he just challenged Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship. A match between Andrade and Kenny Omega is not what's best for business. It's what's best for wrestling. This has match of the year implications written all over it. And I, for one, am dying to see this match. Dying, you hear me? And last thing we have in markout news, Mick Foley calls for an all-female WWE brand before AEW beats them to it. He sent out a tweet directed directly at Vince saying, "Vince, an all-women's brand needs to happen in WWE unless you want AEW to beat you to the punch. Sincerely, Mick." Well, dear Mick, and dear Vince, and dear Bruce Pritchard, and anyone else over there at WWE, fix your women's division first, because NXT is holding on by a thread, and the main roster women's divisions are, I won't say horrible, but that's an accurate word. So fix those first, and then maybe us as fans will want to actually see an all women's show when it comes to WWE women's wrestling. But nah, not right now. And God forbid AEW do the same. What am I going to watch, a whole hour or 2 hours of just Britt Baker? I am sorry, but no. Sincerely, Nix. In other news, Jeff Goldblum has a big project coming up with a D&D podcast. Jeff Goldblum is joining the voice cast of the popular Dungeons & Dragons podcast Dark Dice in their upcoming season. Goldblum has worn several hats throughout his acting career, but his next big project will see him embark on an entirely new adventure, voicing the Elverin sorcerer Balmer on the second season of the D&D podcast Dark Dice. Balmer will make his debut on May 12th when the next season of the award-winning podcast launches. He will be featured as one of the 5 playable characters in the improvised audio drama, where the outcome of the story is determined by the fated rolling of dice. As part of the quest, Goldblum's team will be stalked by the deceptive being known as the Silent One, who must be identified before it's too late. Jeff Goldblum can't miss right now. I mean, honestly, like his career is probably one of the best careers I've ever seen, and with him jumping on this D&D podcast, he's gonna have every nerd, every blurred at his beck and call. This is gonna be dope. I'll definitely be listening. It's a podcast, of course, so I wouldn't listen to it, but it's definitely gonna be a good look, and I can't wait to see what's going on May 12th. It's gonna be dope. Well, that's that podcast, and as for this podcast, it is over, and I am gonna get out of here. Thank you all for listening. Thank you so much. Please, if you are listening to the content, following the content, subscribing to the content, let your boy know what you think about that content. Visit the website, doyouspeakgeek.com. Follow us on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out our YouTube channel. Please be sure to subscribe and like the videos there. As always, people, live to play, play to win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?